Good morning, sisters. Welcome to episode 10 of Provident Living. So just a couple things from last week, and I apologize that I'm always adding on to what we did the week before, but a couple of things that I left off. So I talked to you about the square buckets that you can buy at Sam's or Costco for a minimal price, and these would be buckets you'd want to put in your pantry. The lids are easy to come off, which is a bad thing for long-term storage, a good thing for your pantry, so you can get in and out of it easily if you don't want to spend the money on those gamma lids. But you really need some really good rubber gasket seals and some that are designed for food storage. So if you do decide to get those buckets, they are a good price, but you do want to get them just to use for the things that you have open at the time in your pantry and not for long-term storage. Then on another note, we talked about buckets and where to buy them. I have a source, and some of you actually buy from her, in Pleasant View. This gal I've known, her business has been around forever and ever and ever. But I first heard of her 25 years ago and have met her about 23 years ago and have been, doing transactions with her ever since. But she has amazing deals. And buckets are one of those deals. So she has the 5 and 6 gallon buckets, and they run, let's see, I have her prices here, $5.95 for a 6 gallon and $5.75 for a 5 gallon. However, you have to buy the lids separately. And here's why, because there's 4 kinds of lids. There's the really heavy duty, well, they're all heavy duty, the kind that you peel off, like the black bucket I showed you last time. It just has a little tab and you peel it all the way off, which kind of helps unseal it. Then there's the kind that has a spigot. That would kind of be more like something you'd want to keep in your pantry as well, but you can pour. So it's great for storing liquids. It's great for storing things like rice and wheat, things that easily pour. Then there's the kind that has 4 tabs that you can just pop off, and then the lid comes off a little easier than the one that just has the strip that pulls off. If you do have the kind that have a strip, you have to have a lid lifter, and I apologize, I meant to bring my lid lifter to show you. I will show that to you next time. Oh, crazy me. But she has all of those things available for a really good price. So her buckets are the prices I just told you, but then the lids, which are extra beyond that, are, let's see, I believe they're $1.25 or $1.75. Where did I see those? $1.75 each, unless you get the gamma lids. And her gamma lids are a really good price too. They are $6.95. And of course, she has the colored buckets and the white buckets, but they're all the really big, heavy-duty, food-grade, nice buckets. So I think you're going to be happy with those. And then the lid lifter that she sells is just $1.95. I can't beat her prices. I have looked on the internet. I've looked at different companies, kind of shopped around just at local stores, and her prices are just better than anywhere else. You might find a sale that has a little bit better prices than she does. But also the nice thing is if we did decide to do like a group order, then they will deliver all of these and you don't have to go pick them up. And they can just deliver them either to the church if we all decide to pick them up there, or to my house and you guys could come get them. So it's just a thought. If you're interested, let me know. She also has the best water storage containers and prices that I have found. Now, there is a place in Brigham City called waterprepared.com. And I know some people who bought some there, and they've gotten really good deals. So those deals, I think, rival, possibly even beat her regular prices. But they don't have those deals very often. So if you want to wait for the deals, that's great. But if you want to get hers, I will tell you about those, excuse me, at the end here, what you can get and the prices for them. There is, however, one that I don't have a price on. I'm not sure why I thought I did, but I don't. Okay, so let's talk about water storage. So the recommended storage is 2 gallons of water per person per day. That's a lot of water. And I know you guys are all kind of freaking out. That is a lot of water, but there's a lot of ways you can get the water. Water's really important in your 72-hour kits. It's really important in your home storage. You can go a lot longer without food than you ever can water. 24 to 48 hours without water and your organs are going to start to shut down. You're in pretty big trouble after about 3 days. So you really need to have some water on hand. So let's talk about the various ways to have water on hand. Now, I know before when we talked about food storage, I told you in the cans, canned goods like canned corn, canned beans, things like that. There is water content in there. You can use those. They would be great to cook with, say for soups, or if you had to, you could even drink it. Yeah, it would taste like green beans or taste like corn, but it's water. And you'd be great to use that. You can also get water out of the tanks of your toilets, not the bowls, the tanks. Although you maybe could get it out of the bowls and put it through a water filtration system. You do not want to store water that has gone through a water softener. So if your whole house has a water softener on it, you want to get your water from a tap outside. Having said that, you need to use a drinkable, what's it called? There's a name for it. Anyway, you need to use a hose that is made just for water. There's a name for that. Anyway, you could get those at like an RV store. You can even get them at Walmart. They're not that expensive, but you do not want to use those for your garden. You do not want to keep them outside. You want to keep them with your water storage, and you also want to kind of seal the ends just to keep them free of bugs and dust and dirt. What I do is put the two ends together and just kind of make sure that they stay together so that nothing can get in there. So those are important. That's really important how you put the water in your buckets and what kind of water you use. So the thing about water softeners is they have chemicals and minerals that they put in the water to soften it, and that's how you grow the green algae. If you store your water properly, you can literally store it for years and years and years and not have to change it out. However, water goes flat. So if you do have water stored for a long period of time, you're going to have to aerate it. Now, really, you just need to shake it up. It just puts the air bubbles back in the water, or you can take 2 pitchers and pour it from one to the other, and that will add water to it if you're going to drink it. So also water in your home, you can use the water from your hot water tank. Now, just like the fires in California were a great example as to why we need 72-hour kits, the ice storms in Texas are a great example as to why we need light and heat sources, legit light and heat sources that are safe to use, but also why we need water storage. So those millions of people who are without power are also without water, because your water has to go through, many places have to go through a pumping system. Now here in Perry, we have a gravity-fed water source. I need to check with someone who was a good friend of ours who was the city manager kind of when they were doing the water here, upgrading, installing, whatever, and see if they actually use pumps and electricity in their filtration. I'm wondering if there's a way that they could do the not only the gravity-fed distribution, but also the gravity-fed possibly cleansing of it. If that's the case, then you may still have water. But if it does have to go through an electrical system to be cleaned, you're not going to have any water at your home. So what you need is water sources. You can, if it's winter, you can melt snow and treat the snow. A great way to treat things is with Clorox. There are tabs and other things out there that you can put in your water, but really Clorox was just good. Just a few little drops of Clorox. Also, you can use like juice jugs or the Clorox jugs when they're empty, or the 2-liter pop bottles. Green is the best ones to use just because of the chemicals and stuff in the coloring of others. You can use those, but when you wash them out, don't use soap, because soap, you cannot get the residue out and it will contaminate your water. So you really just want to use a little bit of Clorox and some hot water to clean those out and store them in. We also talked about canning jars. So if you have your canning jars and they're sitting there empty, fill them full of water. I mean, you're storing them anyway, put water in them. And if you have your old lids, it's going to keep it clean, easy to use. If you don't keep your old sealable lids, which I recommend just to keep your jars clean, some people have said you can even reuse them to can. That makes me a little nervous. Haven't tried it. Not going to tell you to do that if I don't know. But you can also just use saran wrap. I've kind of doubled or actually quadrupled this little piece of saran wrap over the top and then put the ring back on. If you also don't have rings but you do have your jars, then use some saran wrap with some rubber bands. Keep in mind that rubber bands will deteriorate and pop off eventually. So if you're long-term storage these, that's not the best way to go. Okay, water filtration. We are so out of time. I think we might go into the water tanks and the water things that you combine next time, and also the water purifiers, which are great to have. I'll just show you this. We'll talk about it next time. It's a little water filter bottle, water bottle. Great. It's great. That is what I keep in my 72-hour kits because I can get water from anywhere, but to lug water is heavy. So you don't really want to have water in your kits. We'll talk a little bit more about water next time just because we need to keep to the 10 minutes. But I'll see you then. You guys have a great week. Take care. Bye.